All right, and we're on.
Okay.
You look through the hole. It had been broken down stone, you will remember. And the fire beetle had launched itself at Alexandrina. Had launched itself at Alexandrina, and the party had put down it and the other four. Now, you look through the hole on the other side, and there's a kind of a... It's a very clayey, open space. You can tell that this is clearly the lair of the fire beetles. There's nothing in it. There's no treasure or anything. But there are little nodules of eggs that are there that the ranger will recognize as being fire beetle eggs. But the eggs are open and broken and past because this is November, so the eggs aren't new, okay? The fire beetles have already grown out of them, but you can only see the shards and the remainders of the eggs that are there. There is two tunnels, I guess we can call them tunnels. There are two tunnels that extend outwards from the lair of the fire beetles. They're both about 3 feet in diameter. They're both drilled right through the clay and pretty much look uncomfortable to crawl through, but you would have to crawl through them except for, but the halfling isn't here. Is that right? The halfling isn't here. Okay, so you'd have to crawl through them. What do you wish to do?
Take the one on the left.
Yes, that's fine. Who would go first?
Ivan will go first. He's 3 foot.
All right. How does Ivan wish to go? By what means?
Oh, his feet.
No. I'm asking, do you have a weapon drawn? Or
yes. Thank you. Yes, you have a dagger in hand.
All right. Does anybody wish to go with Ivan?
Alexandrina will follow behind Ivan with her hand axe in hand as well.
I was going to ask how tall you
are. I'm 3'11".
Yeah.
She's quite short.
Also short.
I figured if we put the two shortest ones first, it'll help.
I'm fairly tall for both my characters at the moment, so. Brief question. Javelin does D6?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. You begin to move through the hole. Now, you will remember that the space that you're in is only a couple of feet above the water line of the river that was the badger's hole that brought you into this place. So you are only a couple of feet above that water line. So there are various places where, as you are crawling through the hole, the level of the passageway, or the level of the very small tunnel that you are crawling through drops, and you are sort of moving through sludgy mud. Well, wet clay, right? Because it's not quite thin enough to make mud, but it does become watery enough that you can feel your feet sink. Your feet, your knees, your hands sink into the get wet as you walk over it. Okay, it's like walking on wet plasticine, right? Because it's very thick, it's very hard. So as you and Alexandrina move forward, and as far as I know, the rest of the party isn't following along at this time, you're maybe 30 feet through the tunnels, okay, through the one tunnel, and you'll come to a place where there will be 2 tunnels that lead from where you are. One of them in a generally upwards direction, and one of them continuing forward on from where you are. It is also at that moment that you can hear very, very faintly. The rest of the party would not be able to hear this. You can hear music being played. You would guess that it is some kind of string instrument, but beyond that, you can't be sure.
Would a check against the hear noise help?
I'm giving you the hear noise at this point.
Okay. Which tunnel?
Difficult to tell. From
It's
where
just
you are,
music.
from where you are, there's too much.
Echo?
Well, there's not much echo because it's not a stone tunnel, so there's too much feel. The acoustics would make it impossible for you to be certain which tunnel that it was coming from because it would sound the same no matter which direction your ear was in. Because the clay sucks in the noise and so on, so it's not gonna give you a reflection of the noise so you can tell which tunnel.
Do we want to head back and get the rest of the party?
Not yet.
We're recording, so if you guys could talk louder when you talk.
Okay.
Ivan will take the tunnel that goes up.
Do we have a cleric with us?
Yes, Vanya is a cleric.
But she can't hear this music yet.
No, she can't. The only two that can hear it at the moment are Alexandrina and Ivan. All right. Ivan, you begin to move up, and of course, immediately, two things happen with the tunnel. It gets a lot drier, okay? But it climbs up in two stages, and in both stages, it's a little bit like you're a dwarf, so it's difficult, okay? You actually have to put your feet on either side and shuttle up like through a chute, mountain climbing. So you have to go up a 5-foot climb on both occasions. So it's somewhat difficult, but of course you're a dwarf, you can make it, it's not hard, but it is higher than you are, okay?
Just about everything is.
So we will assume you're not being stupid and you are looking over the edge as you climb up each time and being careful about that because I'm obviously not going to catch you on that sort of thing. But as the clay becomes drier, as you are climbing up the second thing, you will remember that it is winter and it is November and it is cold up there. And I had said that the top of the bank was 25 feet above the river. So you are now about 12 or 14 feet above the river, you would guess, from your dwarven abilities. It's getting pretty frosty now.
Okay.
So the clay is now quite cold to the touch.
Okay. What about the music?
You can't hear it.
Okay.
Alexandrina would still be down. She hasn't followed you yet.
No, I'm waiting to hear if there's any screams. Alexandrina is waiting to hear if there's any screams.
Ivan's gonna keep going up the tunnel until he finds where it breaks the surface.
Okay. It doesn't. It comes to a dead end. Okay. Well, you find some more broken eggs and so on. This looks like it could have been another nest at some point, but it is empty completely. There are no bugs of any kind in it, and it doesn't look like it's had anything in it for some time.
Okay. Well, go back down to where the two tunnels fork then.
It could have been that the bugs vacated it as the winter came on. Okay.
Makes sense.